Welcome to another episode of the Wildcat Alley podcast. Alex Marcotullio with my main man, Juice Thompson, number 22.
Boy.
Wildcat legend. What's good,
Yes,
Juice?
sir.
How you doing?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. This could have been a difficult episode to record, but I think the result last night against Wisconsin is definitely up to the energy level, especially for me. I know going into that game, it was, I was a little bit of a nervous wreck, I'm not going to lie, but Cats came out with the victory, so heading into a solid work week today with some positive momentum, a little bit of a breathing room for the Cats, a little bit of a break off of that, 6 games and 13-day stretch that we've had.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a long stretch, Juice. What are some key takeaways that you've seen over the course of the last 2 weeks, or some things that you want to highlight that have really brought us to where we are today?
Definitely the defense. That's been our staple all season. And I feel like, like you said, coming into today, it could have been difficult. Could have been a difficult episode if we didn't get that win at Wisconsin. And, I feel like the 2 games previous, we were a step slow. We weren't there on our defensive rotations. And it kind of seemed like guys were, getting on top of each other more so than usual. It looked like there was some, a little bit of back and forth when guys weren't making the rotations that they normally make. And for us to come together as a team and get that big road win, like you said, that just starts the week off right, for us fans watching, but also for the team. Now they get that break, after playing 6 games in 13 days. I think this is going to be crucial for us. And I think, you have to really tip your hat to the coaching staff to have those guys fresh and prepared after playing the way that they've been playing. Because you can see the second half we've been having a drop-off. But I think, now we're getting back to that defensive mindset. And, again, we're figuring out ways to make plays and win games down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you in terms of, seeing guys being on maybe not on the same page like they have been, all year long. But I think that's just a product of a little bit of fatigue. And that's really what I saw over the course of the week before heading into Sunday. We played almost like an NBA schedule, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a slate of games that, obviously we're playing a lot of young guys too, but even our seniors have not had to really partake in over the course of their careers. So, as somebody that played a long time and played in the league, playing that on 6 games and 13 days is not only physically taxing, but the mental challenge that you have to take on as well is very significant. And something as simple as a small little mental breakdown on a defensive end can lead to a huge change in momentum, a huge shift in the game. And I think I saw that during the Michigan game in particular. We kept it close in the first half. We made a couple plays out of the first half, to really go on like a 6-0 run. We take a bad shot, we turn it over, and then just like that, within a snap of a fingers, the game was really over and out of hand, and we really didn't have the juice to recover, for lack of a better term. But it was really good to see, us really breaking down those walls and breaking down those physical and mental barriers that we probably had up. Only natural that we start thinking that way. But again, kudos to the coaching staff, like you mentioned, really getting them locked in, ready to play, and prepared for a really difficult assignment, which is Wisconsin on the road. So as we head into X's and O's, I really wanted to highlight that game because I feel like we really got back to our true identity against Wisconsin last night. Really a grinded out game, obviously. We're going to play that type of style as well as, play. That's how Wisconsin plays as well. So, what are some of the keys that you saw? I know you mentioned the defense earlier, but what are some other keys that you saw that really allowed us to get back to our roots and do what we do best, which is grind games out, lock you down, and then make some timely shots?
Yeah. I think we did a great job of staying together as a team, as a coaching staff. Looks like the bench is back into it. Guys were fresh. And most importantly, we were able to make those baskets. Boo, came up with some big baskets down the stretch, made those big free throws. And you just see now guys are really trusting Brooks Barnheiser a lot. He's in there making plays, using ball screens. And, a play that I got to, give a lot of credit to. I see all the guards getting there, playing off 2 feet, stopping.
Yes.
Defender cuts them off, then they're spinning into that fadeaway. So it looks like that's something that they all work on because it seems like they all have it, perfected, especially Chase.
Yeah.
But, for us, staying together, staying the course in a tough environment and pulling out a win. And as we talked about in previous episodes, those are games that we struggled, finding ways to win earlier on in the previous years. But now I think our experience is really, really starting to play off, and our guards are making plays, and even the bigs. And, with going into the X&O, I really got to give a shout-out. Big Matthew Nicholson, when he got that coast to coast and dunked it and swung his legs around, oh, man, I was hyped for that. Yeah. So, players like that stepping up, and then, Martinelli, he's giving us a big spark off the bench. Obviously we missed Julian Roper.
The bench as a whole was amazing yesterday.
Yeah. So we would love to see Julian Roper get back in there, but, it's the next man up mentality. Guys are really stepping up and providing that spark off the bench. Is there anything that you saw that stood out, outside of the offense or defense that really helped us get that win down in Wisconsin?
It's funny you say that they were, they seemed like they were really together. Literally the first under 4 timeout that happened, this is something really subtle and something that I saw, and I was like, whoa, these guys are locked in. First under 4 timeout, ball goes out of bounds or whatever happened. The entire bench got up at the exact same time, sprung off the bench. Managers came out. It was like in perfect unison. So I was like, whoa. From there, I was like, these guys are dialed in. They're ready to go. They were well prepared. And just something like that just allowed me to be like, okay, today seems a little bit different. Yeah, today seems a little different. Like we're definitely dialed in. Honestly, it helps that Wisconsin doesn't press. I feel like, we've struggled with teams that have 3/4 court pressed us and hasn't really allowed us to get into our sets in a timely manner. I think that's something that we're going to have to prepare for moving forward. For some of these teams in the league that have probably watched us already and realized that, hey, if we can get Northwestern down to, 18, 17 seconds left on the shot clock before they get into their stuff, they can struggle in late clock situations. I thought Michigan did a really good job of icing those ball screens. They kept all of our side ball screen action on that same side, really didn't allow us to turn the corner and get into the paint and play off of 2 feet like we've been really good at from the guard level all the way up to small forwards. And obviously, my guy Brooks is Brooks Barnheiser. That glue guy that we were missing over the course of the last couple of years has really continued to come into his own, make a significant impact. And it's good to see him get some credit in the box score too, as well as like the post-game coverage as well. He's gotten some really good hype over the last couple of days, and rightfully so. Came in off the bench, contributed in multiple facets, 8 points, 7 rebounds in 24 minutes. He's always on the floor, deflections, loose balls, really just doing all of that dirty, gritty stuff that you need out of a guy that comes off the bench. And then obviously, Martinelli. I may have a little bit of bias towards left-handers with Italian last names that can come in and provide a spark off the bench. But
related somewhere.
His minutes have been invaluable, really.
Yeah.
His ability to come in and really pick up the slack from an offensive standpoint. Obviously, I think he still has a little bit of work to do defensively, but that'll come with experience. But his feel and essence for the game is really nice to see, and he just has that knack for knowing where to be, and he seems to be in the right place at the right time, and he's got that float game that is basically automatic.
Yeah. And you know me, I love the floater, so anytime I see that, and he's a bigger guy, so it's like he got that, that floater down pack, and like you said, he's just always in the right spot. Yesterday he had a big cut back door, kind of saved Brooks. He got caught off 2 feet, pivoting, trying to find something, and at the last minute hit him for that back door, and Martinelli was able to finish. So, you have to give him credit. He didn't get a lot of minutes at the beginning of the season, but right away, once his number was called, he had his opportunities. He's been doing a really good job of making the most of them and providing a big spark. So you definitely got to continue and, expect really big things for him because he's only a freshman. So he has a lot of huge upside and potential.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that, we could spare some additional minutes for one of our guards that can be out of the lineup for a couple minutes and bring somebody in that's not going to cause any drop off, especially with Roper out, which it seems like he may be out for a little bit of extended time here with that ankle injury.
Yeah.
When he comes back, I think we just have that added asset on the bench to where we can go 8, 9 deep. Whereas previously we were going, 7 max, and it was a real struggle down the stretch in some games where we were have to, really rely on those senior guards. And obviously we're going to do that moving forward, but to have that sort of luxury coming off the bench and, having someone to make some plays in crucial times and in tough environments is only going to pay dividends in the future. When we talk about getting into the Big Ten tournament, when we talk about, those games leading up to the Big Ten tournament for seeding purposes, these are going to be, plays and games that we look back on and be like, damn, like we're so grateful that he was able to get in those games because now, it's second nature. He has that experience built up. He's been in tough environments. He's played in difficult and close games and has had to make an impact. So I think that's only going to prove very valuable for us moving forward.
Definitely. And one thing that you touch base on with the minutes and giving our senior guards, a little bit of time to breathe and get that rest, and it's not a drop off, not a big drop off or any drop off at all. I personally would like to see our players, especially Chase and Boo, getting a few extra more minutes of rest during the games. Yeah. Especially those games when it's, somewhat out of hand, or the last couple minutes when we really don't have the chance to pull back and, come back and get that win. Let's get those guys rest because, we've been playing 7, 8 deep. We have injuries, and you know how it is, playing all the non-conference games. And once you get to that Big Ten season with all the traveling, you still have school and everything, at Northwestern. Some of those classes can be tough, but, that can weigh on you. So you don't want those guys to be too tired once it gets time for March for that Big Ten tournament season, or, once we make our run in the NCAA tournament. Yes, I'm still saying it. I believe in it. And, Boo Booey last night played 39 minutes. Yes, it was a tough, grinded out game, but maybe there's some ways the coaches can maybe give him a sub, 30 seconds before a media timeout, or maybe the last minute of the half. So that way he's resting for a minute and a half and as well as halftime. So maybe there's a way we can get them a few minutes, a little bit of rest. Chase played 40 minutes.
He played every second. Played every second yesterday.
And as a competitor, that's what you want to do. Obviously we need it. Yeah. Yeah, how this, you was out there too, making it easy, definitely helping. I still tell you about that Minnesota game. That always stands out to me, the senior night.
I played more than one game, Juice.
I know, but that one, because dude, you remember where I was, man. I was crying before the game. I'm missing. I couldn't make a shot. And it's like next, you just turned it up and we went from there. But yeah, I would like to see those guys get a little bit more rest because now it's really getting to the thick of things. We were able to grind it out, get a big win at Wisconsin. And now, we got some pretty tough games coming up. But it is good that we're able to get some rest.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's not only rest, but I think we haven't really had time to work on us, right? Yeah, if you think about our schedule and the practice schedule that has probably, been put in place, it's been a lot of scout. It's been a lot of what are other teams going to do versus, how can we refine and retool what we're doing to be more efficient moving forward. And I think that's, a key word for our team is efficiency, right? Like we're not a high octane offense. We're not going to score, 80 points a game. And we tried to get in that track meet with Iowa and it just didn't work. We're going to have to grind teams out. It's simple as that. We're going to have to play our game, kill a lot of clock, get a couple of, if we are able to get offensive rebounds, pull it out, run some more clock, and really have them play games in the 60s. In the 70s is even a little bit tricky for us, but, if we could play those games in the 50s and 60s, especially against the opponents that we have on the schedule coming up, I think we'll be in a lot better shape than trying to outscore teams because that's just something that we haven't done all year.
Yeah. And with that, there get to the tournament time, how those close games are. It's really good that we're able to pull out, down the stretch, find ways to get baskets, get stops in the key crucial moments. Because once you get to the tournament, there's not going to be many games where, you're blowing teams out by 15, 20 and you're just on cruise control. There are going to be some grinded out games, and it's really good that they're able to get this experience now and handle themselves the way that they've been handling themselves. So you have to give a lot of credit to them.
For sure. And I mean, as we're, on the topic of giving credit, I thought our one-on-one defense down the stretch yesterday was very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, especially Boo against a really capable one-on-one player in Chucky Hepburn.
Hepburn, yeah.
Played tremendous defense without fouling on that last possession. And then not only, played defense without fouling, he also got the loose ball, got the rebound, and was able to go on the other end, bang 2 crucial free throws to really ice it away for us. So, you talk about closing. That's definitely something that we struggled with in the past, but now you can see that senior leadership and maturity really taking over down the stretch and allowing us to pull out some of these games that we potentially lost in years past.
Definitely. And, we got to expect us keep this thing rolling. And with that, we covered a really big win. We didn't go on a 3-game losing streak, which I think is really important. Yep. So moving forward, let's get into some scouting report stuff.
First time beat Wisconsin 2 times in a year, or sweeping the series since 95, 96. So that was a big win for us.
There.
And it kept our losing streaks at only 2. We've only lost 2 in a row all year. And that's, if that's something that we can continue moving forward, I think we'll be in really good shape come Big Ten tournament, come NCAA tournament time, where we can really put a stamp on who we are as a program and move forward for sure. But I know you wanted to touch on the scouting report moving forward. We have 2 games this week that are crucial. Obviously, we have number 1 Purdue coming into Arbonne on Sunday, but cannot look past Ohio State on Thursday. Would be another great road win for us if we're able to take care of business there. They really put it to us at our place in one of the first games of the Big Ten slate, but we obviously bounced back from that. They're a different team than they were then, and so are we. But definitely a game that I want to see us come locked in, shoot the ball well early, and really make a statement on being one of those upper echelon teams in the conference.
And we've had a lot of success on the road, especially in the Big Ten. I think we're a really, really good road team. So going out there, we both played there. It's not the easiest place to play, but we're more than capable of winning. And I'm sure, the coaching staff is going to have the guys prepared and ready, and just reminding them, that they came into our place, Welsh Ryan Arena, and they really, they came out through that first punch, and they really, put a beating on us. So we have to, come back, throw that first punch on the road, come out with our defensive principles. Like you said, make some shots early and move that ball around. I think we'll be good. And then, Purdue's coming into town. That's going to be exciting. I remember my junior year when we beat them, they were ranked number 6, and all the fans rushed the court after. So I would love, for those guys to get a moment like that just to celebrate with the student body. And if they win and they do that, I might just run out there myself. So
most definitely. And I mean, they're number 1 now. They're the surefire number 1 team in the country, as it stands today. Even after their loss at Indiana, they remained at the top of the AP poll when it came out this morning. But, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. They are very well balanced. Obviously, it starts with Player of the Year and Naismith Player of the Year type candidate with Zach Edey in the middle. 7'4", mobile, has the ability to get up and down for a big guy. And I think that's what impresses me the most about him is his ability to condition himself in the offseason, and his ability to run up and down the court, like he's a normal sized guy, but he's 7'4" and 300 pounds. But he's obviously worked on his game, and then their surrounding players, their supporting cast is just as good. Mason Gillis has been hot as been hot as of late, and then the 2 freshman guards, Lawyer and Smith, have really held their own in this conference and have proven to be a really dynamic duo in the backcourt.
Definitely. And, they're battle tested. They had a really good, non-conference schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Got some big time wins throughout the season. And, one other player that, I feel we have to watch out for is Caleb First, coming off the bench. He's a big guy, but he's averaging 19 minutes, 6 and 5, I think 2 offensive rebounds a game. So, that's big. He's coming off, giving them a spark. So, our guys going to have to continue to do what they've been doing off the bench, and especially Titus Verhoeven. We haven't really talked about him. I really feel he's making some big strides and improvements for our team on the defensive end. He's coming in, he's blocking shots, he's giving up his body. He's not afraid to get dunked on. He's mixing it up. His defense on the ball screens is pretty good. He's able to move a little bit. So I definitely wanted to shout him out as someone coming off the bench as well. That's been really giving us a lot of production. And even last night, against Wisconsin.
Vital. Yeah, he was vital last night.
Yep. Made a couple free throws. He missed one, but, had some blocks, and he's there. He's altering shots, and he's, a big presence, and he's making that felt. But, if we stick to our game plan, I know the coaching staff going to have some trap-ins, some different kind of rotations because, that big guy in there is tough to deal with. But I'm excited. I like our chances.
It'll be interesting to see how we defend Edey. Obviously, Nicholson is one of the bigger guys in the conference that has the body to physically match up with Edey. I still think we'll bring a lot of post doubles. Obviously, it's a staple of our defensive philosophy. But I'm anxious to see who we leave on the perimeter because Purdue's going to have to make some threes to beat us. I think we'll leave the Mortons of the world to try to beat us from three. Even some of those other bench guys that come off and shoot. But I think Gillis is going to have to make shots, although he's been red hot as of late. I think he had 9 threes in a game recently. And then, Morton, who's really a defensive stopper, hustle guy, a glue guy. I think we're going to have, we're going to double on Edey and have him beat us on that weak side if Purdue's going to beat us.
Yeah. Hopefully, no guys have a career night against us. Like how Sanford came off shooting that thing with Iowa. It's like certain players, that rim just gets big some games against us. So we can't.
It'll be electric in there, though. It'll be electric in there, though. So,
it's
a huge opportunity. Obviously, we win that game. We are surefire NCAA tournament. And this obviously takes us into our next segment, the Word on Campus. It's all about tourney talk, man. Like, it is that time of the year. DeCourcy's releasing a bracket every day, to really update you on, last night's events and who's in, who's out, last 4 in, last 4 out, surefire teams, how many teams from each conference. And right now,
it's like Big Ten's going to get what, 8?
And right now the conference, now, 8 or 9 I've seen at the highest, 7 at the lowest. So right now we're right in the mix, right there at 7-5. I think we pick up 3 or 4 more victories here over the course of the next couple weeks. We'll be in really good shape moving forward. We have five quad 1 wins. We have very solid true road wins at Indiana, at Michigan State, who those 2 teams combined at home are like 21 or 22-3. So, that just shows how quality those wins are. And I think they're just going to keep getting better because Indiana looks better. Michigan State is going to consistently progress towards March and April as they always do. So, those wins are going to hold a ton of weight when the selection committee looks at our resume as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Is there any other? Are there any other things that you see? With the things that we have, or even upcoming games that could potentially be opportunities for us to really solidify ourselves. I think we're right on that 8 to 10 line right now, most likely 10. But obviously that can change in the course of a week, like we've seen it here as of recent.
Mm-hmm. Now I would definitely say the main one is Purdue with them being ranked so high. Like you said, if we win that game, we should be a shoe-in. We should be a surefire team in the tournament. And right now, 6 teams are tied. They have a 7-5 record. And I was just thinking about this the other day. It reminds me of my time when I played in France for 6 years. Every year it was always, 1 or 2 teams at the top that were 3 or 4 games ahead of everybody. Then it's 6 or 7 teams with the same record. So if you go on a 2-game winning streak, you can go from 10th place to like 3rd place like that.
Crazy.
So that's pretty much how this is. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But we go on the road, continue to play how we've been playing at Ohio State, get this game against Purdue. I really think that would solidify, our resume to really get in there with those quad 1 wins, beating the national number 1 ranked team in the country. Those resume, big resume winning games are huge. So if we can come out and let's protect home court, I really think we should be there for that tournament. And one other thing I recently saw that we were matched up with Duke. And I think that would be a really,
that'd be
really
so
cool
fun.
game. Former Northwestern players playing, Shire with Coach Collins at Duke. I really think that would, be a good story. So if that was to work out, that would be a really interesting game, even though the bracket isn't for sure. But I did see a matchup of that in the
Yeah.
first round.
That was in the Midwest region too, right? Obviously, you could play
Mhm.
anywhere. They call it the Midwest
Right.
region. You could play anywhere, but that would be a really fun matchup. I'll definitely go to that
Have to go check that
wherever
out,
we
right?
land for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, we just right there, keep plugging away. But I definitely think when it all, comes down to it, we should be in that tournament, not in one of the play-in games. But the way we've been playing, the wins we have, and the way I think we're going to continue to go forward now that guys are locked back in, picking up that road win, I think that's going to be huge. And, another part of the word on campus I had was, Chase Audige's interview that he did after the game. I think he
Loved
did
it.
a really
I
good
loved
job,
it.
giving his teammates credit and everything. And one thing that stood out was when he said, they have to be the hardest playing team in the country. At this point, like we've been saying since we started, it's a one-game season, and they really embrace that. They're taking one game at a time, locked in, and, they're leaving it all out there. Those guys look exhausted by the time the game is over. So I really like that, and that stood out to me.
Yeah, I mean, we look tough, man. We really do. I think that's what the huge difference for me from last year to this year is our toughness level and our intensity has picked up like exponentially, like tenfold. And I know we have a different mix of players and we obviously lost a lot of production, but I think at the same time, that loss of production offensively has really hardened us and allowed us to take on a new identity. And I think if we had some of those pieces from previous years, this is something that I fielded a bunch with family, with friends when talking about the team and the trajectory moving forward is, how would we have been, imagine if we had Ryan Young and Pete Nance still. And I'm like, honestly, we'd be a completely different team. Like,
Yeah.
it shows. I think, especially on the defensive end, our versatility and our ball screen defense has just been incredible, and our ability to really lock in 1 through 5 and switch a lot. We switch 1 through 4, like everything.
Yeah, Chase is down and he's battling with those bigs.
Yeah, and I think if we have a different personnel group, we might not have the ability to do that. We could be a completely different team, and our record, I don't think would be the same. I really don't think would be the same because we have had to grind out some games that we could potentially have lost. And obviously, the argument goes like, oh well, you'd be better offensively. Yeah, maybe, but like so much that we do relies on our defensive. We're like a newer age Wisconsin, I would say, right? Like we play multiple ways. Wisconsin has their way, right? It's their way. They run their swing offense. A few wrinkles here and there. They play their drop coverage on ball screens. We tend to switch it up a little bit, but I think we take that same type of mentality into each game. It's like, hey, like we have to have this team play. They're going to play our pace today. You're not going to score 80, right? We're going to play in the 60s and maybe the low 70s, whether you like it or not. And we're going to grind you out. And if you don't want to play this type of game, we're going to frustrate the heck out of you. You're going to turn the ball over, and that's when we really jump on you. So I love the psyche of this team. I love the toughness, and I love the fortitude that we had to bounce back after a really tough week. And literally, if you told me that in 6 games in 13 days that we'd be 4-2, I would have shaken your hand and taken it in a heartbeat. Be like, yep, I'll take 4 wins no matter what. Like, let's go and rest. So I'm really happy with how we bounced back, like first and foremost. And then, how we dealt through this difficult stretch is a testament not only to the players, but the staff, the training staff, everybody involved in the program, really just staying on top of their stuff as we make that break for March.
Yeah, definitely. A big shout out to everyone on staff. Last shout out I have for the word on campus to the freshman, Martinelli.
Yes,
He's, created a big buzz. A lot of the Wildcat fans, student body, a lot of people are backing him up and behind him. They're saying a lot of positive things about him and the impact that he has on the team. He's doing a great job as a freshman. So a lot of the fans see the work that he's doing. and he's really helping us out. So keep that going. Martinelli, got a lot of potential, a lot more years to play at Northwestern. So let's keep it going, Cats.
Yeah, it's good to see from the hometown kid, and obviously, lefty, Italian.
There you
single
go.
Digit number.
There's that connection. There you
Got
go.
the stroke.
Hey, get in that gym with him with the 3-pointers.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I'll get some tips.
You got the
from
floater.
him about that floater.
You got the floater.
He has it already.
Yeah, I got the 3-ball with him.
Yeah, we'll make it work. But yeah,
Cool,
man, let's go Cats. Let's get to that tournament.
Yes, sir. Another great episode with you, Juice. Catch us on everywhere you get your podcast. Catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter.
Everywhere.
We're gonna be posting it. We appreciate
Shout
the love.
out Beyond the Big Ten, our folks at a new amendment. Appreciate you guys.
Beyond the Big Ten is a network of podcasts that aims to be your go-to resource for all things Big Ten. We cover the entire conference with shows hosted by ex-players and athletic alumni, aiming to be your go-to source of information and entertainment for your favorite team. Hosted by ex-Big Ten players, media, and insiders, our podcasts are focused on giving diehard fans and those alums an inside scoop about the teams and people that make the Big Ten Conference one of the most watched and most talked about conferences in sports. We're excited to talk Big Ten basketball with you wherever you may be. Subscribe now.